Aloha and welcome. My name is Taylor Norris, and I'm a certified quantum soul guidance, galactic astrology soul reader, and Reiki master teacher. And in today's video, we will be exploring the astrological and galactic energies of the upcoming Sagittarius new moon on December 12th, 2023. It's where the party's at. Before we dive into the energetics, I would like to invite you to the actual party. The party that I am hosting is my usual new moon distant Reiki share, celebrating this gorgeous Sagittarius new moon. The Reiki share will actually be the day before the new moon, so December 11th at 7 a.m. Hawaii time. It's absolutely free. You don't have to be Reiki certified or trained or have any Reiki experience to come and be a part of it. It's a beautiful gathering of soul family where we heal and we empower and we bless our intentions for the moon cycle ahead, inviting the higher frequencies into our awareness and into our experience. So if you're interested in that, head on over to my website, taylornorrisreiki.com, where you can RSVP for free. All right, so there are several different themes for this new moon. The first I already shared. It's where the party's at, galactically speaking, planetarily speaking, cosmically speaking. In tuning into this chart, it was a real pleasure. I looked at this and I go, wow, this feels really nice. This feels fun. This feels light and bright. This feels like a very fresh changeover of energies that I think we can look forward to. Will there be darker or shadowier or less pleasant, more challenging expressions and experiences of this new moon? Absolutely. And I hold space for those and honor those and have total compassion and love for those. But my general read for the Sagittarius new moon chart, really, I was like relieved when I look at the chart. I was like, oh my gosh, this feels nice. There is a really positive energy here. And you can see that even with all the different aspect lines. You see lots of blue. Yeah, there's some red, there's some squares, there's some challenge, but there's a lot of flow too. It's very dynamic and flowing and harmonious and it's Sagittarius, friends. Sagittarius archetype is all about expansion and growth and possibility. And it doesn't necessarily have to be expansion and growth in an outward, let's colonize the universe kind of way. It can be an inward directed sense of expansion and growth and listening and possibilities experience within the sanctity of your unique, authentic body temple. So remember that too, that you don't have to actually go out to some kind of physical party. The party is happening inside your psyche. It's happening inside your soul, inside your spirit. And as it is a new moon, it is a powerful opportunity and moment to plant a seed of intention. Sagittarius is also about the higher mind. It's a intuitive sense of knowing. I don't know how I know, but I know the thing. It's that kind of intuition. Pisces is also very intuitive, but it's intuitive in a more watery, emotional, deep, mystical kind of way. Sagittarius is just like light bulb moment, eureka moment, download, upload, transload, sideways load, multi-dimensional load. So really our minds can be very filled with all these exciting possibilities, and our hearts can be filled with exciting possibilities, and our bodies and our communities and our experiences. So definitely be welcoming in those experiences. So another theme I want to talk about is this I trust the invisible. Why, you might ask? Well, this new moon, you will see here, there is a red line. This is a 90-degree aspect representing a square aspect to planet Neptune, the invisible, divine love, unconditional love. Neptune is the planet that spiritualizes everything it touches. So it connects us to that sense of unconditional love, pure love, a sense of magic, mysteries, miracles. And it really is a chance to tune in to our intuition, into our inner voice. And that's why I'm saying this party, it might actually be an external party, but it can also very much be an inward focused party as well, connecting with these various galactic parts of yourself. And really, whatever seed of intention you're planting, trusting in the invisible, that the way Neptune works is that it's not already manifested in physical reality. You have to visualize it before it comes into fruition. You have to sense it and perceive it in your inner vision with your clair senses before it is physical and tangible and substantial in a more three-dimensional way. So dream into those possibilities, explore creativity in whatever way you're guided to do so. And this at a lower expression is like, let's take drugs or drink or like have, a low vibe kind of party, right? And so there might be some of that. There might be some of that tuning out. There could be, wanting to indulge too much in fantasy or illusion or deception, or just be completely blindsided by lies, deceit, and manipulation. So that's where it's really important to be in your discernment, be listening to your inner truth, your inner voice, how your body is responding to a person, a situation, a message, whatever the case may be, and connecting with your own sense of inner authority and your own sense of trusting yourself, as well as the invisible and your connection to the divine. There's also this frequency, another similar corresponding energy that would correlate with this. Well, let's just dissociate and tune out completely, because we have Jupiter opposite Venus. This is also where the party's at, okay? Jupiter and Venus are said to be the two benefics. Venus, the so-called lesser benefic, Jupiter, the greater benefic. It's a bigger planet. It's further out. It's massive, Jupiter. So Jupiter expands everything it touches. And what is Venus? Venus is sweet, it's feminine, it's creative, it's pleasure, it's art, it's luxury, it's feeling good, it's the physical senses, it's romance and mundane love and our relationships. So there can be, with Jupiter opposite, overindulgence. There can be emotional eating, spending way too much money. Oh, it's just another bargain. It's another Black Friday deal or Cyber Monday or Tuesday or whatever the latest sale is, or, being in that pattern of spending. And so you spend more, you spend too much. This can also be spending money on things you really value and that you need to spend money on. So, it can go all of these different ways. And this is another reason why it's like, this is where the party is at. Jupiter opposite Venus. Like, yeah, the pleasure principle is really strong. So, if you're sitting on the couch with a second tub of ice cream, it might be time to make your way back to the refrigerator and put it back in the freezer and maybe choose some green juice or some romaine lettuce or something like that. Another kind of where the party's at signature we have here. Well, is Dad home? Where's Saturn? Saturn is in quintile with the new moon. The new moon's making a quintile, fifth harmonic, magical, flowing, creative aspect with planet Saturn, who can be the buzzkill or the authority figure that shuts down the party. But in this case, Saturn is like inner authority. Trust your inner authority, trust your inner truth, your inner voice, and really guiding you into this Neptunian energy, because they're both co-presence in Pisces. So exploring the mystical, going within. If you're gathering with others, it could be of a more mystical, magical nature, and one that ultimately really empowers you and isn't about somebody else feeding you some kind of truth line that then you need to accept as your own truth and spout off to others, which can be a lower expression of Sagittarius, the know-it-all. But really taking with a grain of salt information that you're receiving. And again, checking in, what is actually true to me? What do I sense and feel? And what does my own inner voice say? So in the days prior to the new moon, Saturn and Venus would have already been in a trine relationship one another. So there is this sense of we're really trusting our intuition, our inner authority, and we're even able to better stand in our power in our relationships, in our creativity, and in our sense of values and integrity. Mars is also in the mix. Mars and Sagittarius is also conjunct this new moon, which again gives us the sense of rah, like, yeah, Sagittarius, expand, Jupiter, party. So you might be feeling a lot of energy moving through your body. I know I definitely have, and it's felt like there have been power outages within my body where I need a whole lot more rest, and then power surges. So just being really mindful of that. And if you're feeling a lot of intensity and passion and emotional energy, walk it out, do your fitness routine, move the energy physically through your body. Mars and Sagittarius can also be on a mission for the truth. So you can watch for that as well. The time of this new moon, Mars is actually in a semi-square aspect with Pluto, which is a half a square aspect. This is a motivating aspect. It's like a square where it is maybe more challenging, but it's something that's motivating you to take an action. With Pluto, it's a motivation to take some kind of soul-aligned action that resonates with your sense of truth, Sagittarius, and has really practical applications as well with this Pluto in Capricorn. So definitely be mindful of that as this new moon is separating from Mars. There might be a new seed that you're planting that feels very soul aligned and gives you a sense of greater motivation and drive, and feeling like you're really embodying more of your soul and spirit consciousness. This new moon is also in a quincunx aspect with Uranus. Uranus, the planet of surprises and disruptions, and the galactic, which again brings in this energy of the galactic downloads, higher intelligence, communicating, and really facilitating any kind of shifts, any kind of adjustments that need to be made. In conjunct is not a comfortable aspect. It's not a flowing, harmonious aspect. It's something where there might be some kind of awakening that's happening, new information you're receiving that is recalibrating your consciousness. And I just got a download as I was saying this. This is like more of your multidimensional understanding clicking in. And what's been coming up for me around this is really getting me out of my strict linear thinking patterns and expanding more and more out. And people who know me or maybe watch these videos are like, Taylor, you're already pretty multidimensional or quantum. Well, there's so much more we can go. And I am still very linear in many ways as well. So each of us has ways we can become more entrained to this quantum consciousness, this multidimensional consciousness, and having our mind and our belief systems and our understanding expand to accommodate the true nature of reality rather than reality boxed into and forced into a very rigid linear framework where there's cause and effect and we can control things and things need to be done in a certain way, in a certain order, and that's the way it makes sense. All of this, I feel like Uranus is asking us to let go of that. And that's even being echoed with this Neptune. I didn't mention earlier, but Neptune will have just recently stationed direct. Neptune station has been retrograde for several months now and station direct on December 6th. So we will have been feeling that Neptunian station energy for a good week before that. I was feeling it at least a week before. I was like, oh my gosh, like, when is Neptune stationing? Why am I feeling this now? Like, isn't it a little early? But really, Neptune stationing direct, you can feel that a week before or more if you're really sensitive, and a week on the other side. So you may well be feeling this Neptune stationing direct at the Sagittarius new moon, which is already highlighting that Neptune energy that may be asking you to be letting go of these belief systems, Sagittarius, and assisting with the letting go of those belief systems and thinking patterns that really do not line up. They don't serve you anymore. They're not true. And their time has come to be let go of. What's also interesting is that there's kind of this baton passing energy because Neptune was retrograde for several months, like I said, stationed direct on December 6th, and then begins very slowly moving direct and probably won't move really much at all during December. However, then we see Mercury, which will be about to station retrograde at the time of the new moon. And so there's this pass off here. Mercury's been direct and it then turns retrograde just following Neptune stationing direct. So there's a little exchange going on. And to me, this feels like Mercury has to integrate everything that Neptune was facilitating for us in terms of our spiritualization, in terms of our letting go. Like, okay, now that I've let go and released all of that, I've shed all of that, I've left these things behind. How can my mind and my communication and my thinking expand and recalibrate to these higher truths and wisdom and the spaciousness that Neptune has introduced in this aftermath of all the work I've been doing in these past months. So Mercury retrograde, which will happen for about 3 weeks, will allow us to make those adjustments in our thinking, in our communications, and really, I invite you to ask your guides, ask, in your spiritual practice I know I've been doing this, like, well, show me the way to set that boundary. Show me the way to articulate this adjustment that I need to make so that I can be in greater integrity and I can honor the core dealing and the letting go and these massive spiritual gains that I've made in these last months. Like, how do I do this on the ground? Mercury is going to figure it out and help us really deliver the practicalities, Mercury and Capricorn, of all this really deep spiritual work that many of us have been engaging in. And if you're watching this video, chances are on some level you've been engaging in this work as well too. And hats off to you. There is quite a lot of fire energy at the time of this new moon. So it's creative, it's passionate, it's intuitive, it's energetic, it's Sagittarius. I mean, it's a good time. It's the best time. I'm Sag rising, so I'm biased. There's also a lot of mutable energy in the planets at this time as well. So there's a lot of flexibility, there's fluidity, there's that shifting, there's that adaptation. You know, this new moon feels like some kind of adaptogenic planetary configuration for us to really adapt and evolve and make a lot of the changes that have been set in motion the whole year. How do we really make these adaptations that we've been working on all year so that 2024 is our best year yet? And just to continue on with the lightness and humor of this new moon, I would love to share with you the Sabian symbol for the new moon, which is a child and a dog wearing borrowed glasses. This is for 21 degrees of Sagittarius with the Sabian symbols. You round up, so the new moon is over 20 degrees, so you round up to 21 degrees. And this particular interpretation of the symbol comes from mindfire.ca. This is from astrologer Dane Rudger, and he says, the use of imagination and make-believe in anticipating higher stages of development. This rather peculiar symbol seems to imply here that by imitating features belonging to a level of consciousness as yet unreachable, the process of growth may be accelerated. Eyeglasses symbolize intellectual development. The chiefs of primitive tribes, in some instances, have sought to impress their people by wearing spectacles without glass or Western hats, simply because these objects seemed characteristic of a race of superior people. This is similar to the process of growth by identification with a master or guru. In a sense, it is mere pretending or make-believe, yet wearing the mask of a god, the medicine man, at the time becomes for all practical purposes the incarnation of the god. Growth is always a hierarchical process, even if the growing entity is not aware of it. This is the first of 5 symbols constituting the 53rd sequence. It suggests the value of learning through imitation. And to me, this symbol summed up in a nutshell is fake it till you make it. And that applies to your consciousness as well. So what is the higher ideal that you want to fix your focus on and bring in these final days and weeks of 2023 so that you may anchor it more fully into your daily life 2024 and beyond? And have a good laugh. Don't take any of this too seriously, including yourself, including your healing path and your spiritual path. Remember, to laugh at all of this as well. Keep a sense of humor. That is so healthy and healing. So looking now at where the new moon is happening in the sky, you can see here the sun and moon are together in the stars of Ophiuchus constellation. This is that rumored 13th zodiac sign. And what I was just reading before recording this video is that actually the Ophiuchus constellation takes up more space of the ecliptic than even the Scorpius constellation. And that really during Scorpio season, the sun and the planets are typically moving through the stars of Ophiuchus. So that's really, really interesting energy. It's almost like this new moon is giving us a chance to onboard this part of our unconscious that we're just not connected to consciously. So it's a really powerful time to tune into the mystery and the invisible. And we will talk more about this Ophiuchus energy because it is just extraordinary to me. The part of the constellation here that's actually touching the ecliptic, or is, closest to where the sun and the moon is actually part of the serpent that Ophiuchus is a man holding a serpent. It's part of the serpent. So this new moon brings in that serpent and that dragon, the Kundalini, the ancient feminine goddess energies that have been both extremely taboo and misunderstood, and also passed on in various mystery schools and traditions over the course of the last thousands of years. Ophiuchus is one of the 3 constellations in the sky that contains a serpent or a dragon, and it is the serpentine dragon-like constellation that is really the joiner or the intermediary between Hydra constellation, which is actually lower in the sky, and Draco constellation, which is at the pole. So very powerful at the time of this new moon to be connecting in with that serpent and that dragon energy, the Kundalini energy, in any way you feel guided to do so. And if that sounds very esoteric to you, you can connect in with this energy by connecting into the earth, into nature, and in connecting to your own physical body, your chakras, your own energy centers. This energy is not separate from you and is really, really beautiful and powerful to explore. Here I am showing the galactic chart for this new moon, and you can draw up a chart just like this on galacticastrochart.com, thanks to Julia Balaz and the wonderful IT support team, including Hector, who is constantly improving the quality of this calculator. Thank you so very much. And this particular chart shows the conjunct and opposite aspects to the constellations, as well as the fixed stars with each of the planets and the important points in the chart. And I've just cut out the ascendant and the midheaven because those are specific to my location in Hawaii, but otherwise it shows everything. And again, you get a sense for where the party's at galactically, because there's a lot of galactic energy in this chart. Looking at simply the conjunct and opposites to the sun and moon, to this new moon, you see 4 boxes filled up here: Ophiuchus constellation, Alhague star, Nihal star and Lepus, Bellatrix and Mintaka stars in Orion constellation, Capella star in Auriga constellation, Friends, if you have anything around 19 to 21 degrees of Sagittarius or Gemini, this is one of those hot spots in the chart that just has so many different stars connected to it. So definitely be aware if you have this degree point activated, and know that you are very galactically connected to a variety of star beings and consciousnesses. So very, very exciting. The nodes of the moon are still aligned with Spica star in Virgo and Arcturus star in Boots constellation, still very much assisting us with just the most beautiful spirit guide, spiritual support team. And what's also awesome is that this new moon is in trine and sextile. So, again, harmonious aspects, beneficial flows of energy to the nodes of the moon. So, this is very much in alignment with our soul intentions, our soul growth. It may feel easy at this time, not quite as challenging, heavy, and burdensome. And there's definitely very strong, powerful light beings and galactic energies that are very much cheering for heaven on earth and the presence of the new consciousness awakening upon the earth. Mercury is opposite Sirius B star in Canis Major constellation. And so this is that Mercury that will be stationing retrograde right around the time of the new moon. So definitely be listening. Sirius B, Mersum star, one of its superpowers is clairaudience, is working with the waters and the emotions. So definitely have your full body listening turned on, listening with all of your chakras, listening with all of your clair senses. What kinds of information are you picking up and receiving? This would also be a beneficial time to receive some kind of sound healing or facilitate a sound healing for yourself, and even just immerse yourself in the healing sounds of nature, or enjoy a very quiet time where, again, you're really tuning into your own stillness and silence and inner voice. Venus is in a conjunction with a Crux star and Crux constellation. This is deeply intuitive. This is a chance to really be releasing any kind of martyr archetype and valuing your sense of intuitive knowing, valuing the occult studies, the esoteric studies, and valuing how you can use your intuition to inform very practical doingnesses, so actual achievements and physical manifestations of your intuition and your intuitive vision, and even your more esoteric studies and explorations that you might be guided to do at this time. There might be some kind of creativity that you're inspired to do within this realm that feels really good and feminine and intuitive to you. Venus is opposite Shedir star in Cassiopeia. We'll talk more about this star because Jupiter is conjunct. She is also opposite to twin star in Andromeda. Mars is conjunct the great attractor. This is another reason why your energy body and your energy system might feel like supercharged. You might also feel wiped out. You may be receiving quite a lot of light codes and the solar consciousness, the star consciousness, the frequencies and energies beyond the Milky Way galaxy, because this great attractor is a point in space, a cosmic anomaly that really governs the entire galactic neighborhood called Laniakea, which is immense, immeasurable, heaven in Hawaiian. That's where that word Laniakea comes from. And so don't be surprised if it's like your very physical embodiment seems like every little pore in your body, this is how I feel a lot of the times, is like vibrating and receiving so much energetic influx. So really be hydrating, do your exercise, take a walk, ground, soothe yourself, soothe your nervous system so that you can really receive all of these amazing frequencies that are coming in, and it doesn't just trip your circuit. So focusing on that soothing, that relaxation, that stress reduction, not just, talking about, but actually doing it, making time for yourself to be still and soothe and receive. And even thinking, having this be one of your filters. I've been working with this and practicing this, is like, is this choice going to stress me out? Is it going to stress my nervous system, or is it going to soothe my nervous system? And taking that into consideration when I make any kind of choice as much as possible. Of course, not all stressful things can be avoided or removed, but minimizing and eliminating the stresses that I do have control over. Jupiter is making a conjunction with Shedir star in Cassiopeia. We'll talk more about that. And opposite the Shapley attractor. So again, many galactic frequencies coming in. Saturn is working with two of the four royal stars of Persia, Piscis Austrinus constellation, Fomalhaut star, and Regulus star in Leo constellation. This brings in play, this brings in magic, this brings in a sense of regal and dignified magic and leadership and Christ consciousness and such pure healing energy with Fomalhaut star in particular. The frequencies of Fomalhaut continue to blast my heart wider and wider open and totally fill me with the deepest sense of mysticism and appreciation. So if you're noticing things like that, you can think about this is Saturn being a way for us to access these frequencies. So thank you, Saturn, for this alignment. And Saturn really wants us to make it practical, to bring it into reality, bring it into our day-to-day life, to anchor it in our earth bodies, in our work, in our service, in our karmic mission. Neptune is conjunct Macabre star and Pegasus, once again, saying to be stable, hold your seat, be kind. You can be fantastical and very creative in your thinking. There's a lot of magic in stability, so don't forget that either. There's also a difference between being stable and being stagnant or stuck. And I believe this Neptune Macabre Pegasus teaching is a lot about that empowered, dynamic, expansive stability that anchors us just enough so that we can expand and grow in very powerful ways and be of greater service to ourselves, others, and the world in the way that our soul and spirit intended for this lifetime. Chiron is conjunct Alpharat star in Andromeda, and this is really echoing that Sagittarian notion of freedom, which I don't think I mentioned, but that's one of the signatures for Sagittarius. That's one of its core values, is freedom. So in what way can your healing work, Chiron, gift you a greater sense of freedom? That is the teaching and the transmission of that alignment that's coming through for me this new moon. Take that if that resonates, leave the rest, and let me know when you see this galactic chart, what are you seeing? What are you tuning into? I'd love to hear your perspective in the comments below. All right, so parts of this slide may look very familiar to you because at the Gemini full moon, Mercury was giving us a preview of Alhague's star in Ophiuchus constellation, the energies, the frequencies, the downloads starting to introduce us and feel us into this particular vibration that I really love. I'm really enjoying this Alhague energy. Now, I will say Alhague is a very connected star for me, so maybe I'm biased. Y'all tell me your sense and feeling of Alhague and Ophiuchus, but to me, this is very healing energy. He's the man holding the serpent in the sky. This constellation has been linked to Asclepius from Greek mythology, the very gifted and talented healer, so gifted and talented that he could, in fact, bring the deceased ones back from the dead, back to life. And this was so threatening to the gods that they took him down with a thunderbolt and put him in the sky where he would be less intimidating and threatening to the gods who wanted their stake and their claim on immortality. So this is like the healing energy to tune into. And what's more is that this new moon aligned with Alhague is actually in trine to Chiron. Again, I didn't mention that before. Chiron is the other mentor, healer, teacher, and Alhague is a very similar energy frequency of healer, mentor, teacher, the one who is wounded that then can actually heal the wound and can heal the wound so effectively, like I said, that anything is possible, anything is healable. So no matter how badly you might feel like you're wounded or the earth is wounded or your soul is wounded or somebody else is wounded, this alignment, this new moon is like, listen, anything is possible. Alhague, Asclepius, bringing the dead back to life, the unhealable, that's a limiting belief. That's a linear thinking. That is not necessarily true. So consider that. Alhague is one of the stars of dignity. There are only a handful of these, and Alhague is one of those. And this comes from Bernadette Brady. She writes in Star and Planet Combinations about Alhague with the sun can be a reporter interested in the stories of events and people. With the moon, this can be a person who probes the hidden meanings or sacredness of life. So merging those together is really, to me, it's a new healed timeline. The stories of events and people, this could be your own multidimensional timeline, soul history, soul future, soul past, soul presence, the whole timeline on an individual level, on a collective level as well. And with the moon, probing those hidden meanings, understanding the sacredness, understanding how the puzzle pieces fit together, and introducing and claiming and onboarding this new healed timeline. This is really what I've been observing in the days since the Gemini full moon. I work with Reiki, how Reiki energy is healing timelines, and it's showing me that healing work that we do now is actually going back from our linear perspective to certain times and situations and circumstances. The one I'm thinking of right now is often Atlantean times coming in a big way. And I think for those of us who understand Atlantis stories, can see that a lot of that, overly masculine energy, how that plays out on Earth at this time as, certain powers wish to hold on to what was and suppress the feminine. So I'm seeing many journeys going back to ancient Atlantis and actually altering events so that certain key people can make or souls rather, certain souls who are choosing healing now can make adjustments in their timeline and then have the choice actually through a Jupiterian portal about how to expand. Do they want to go in this direction, in this direction? Where are they choosing to place their energy and their focus? And what I'm being shown is that choice made by the current soul then ripples back, it ripples forward, it ripples sideways in all directions, and it alters the trajectory and the frequency and the healing lessons of this current time. And it raises the person, the soul's present timeline to that highest possible timeline, that healed timeline, enveloping all seemingly lower or past timelines to this next highest octave, or it could even jump several octaves. So I hope I'm articulating that semi-clearly. It is, like I said, I'm in my own process of altering my communication and my thinking to match what I'm perceiving and to be able to reflect that and express that in words. So you may find yourself doing the same. You may find yourself noticing these new healed or healing timelines opening to you, and your inner perceptions of like adjustments being made in certain past time points or different spaces, whether those are on Earth or they're involving other planets. And a lot of this too, if this is, you're like, this could also be happening at an unconscious level as well. So don't feel like you have to know the stories or the specifics for this healing possibility to be taking place. If it's something that you wish to be taking place, what action can you take to show the universe or to make some kind of commitment on your spiritual path that you're giving your permission to accept this new healed timeline to be very real and tangible and physical and perceivable in your everyday life? Going along with the Stars of Dignity theme, one of the other kind of fun phrases I was playing with for the theme was where the royal party's at, because Alhague is the Star of Dignity, and Shedir star, in Cassiopeia constellation is one of these other stars of dignity, according to Bernadette Brady. And like I said, Jupiter is conjunct this star by projecting the stars onto the ecliptic. So I have this little diagram here. You can see Cassiopeia constellation is way up here. The ecliptic, where Jupiter and the planets are actually, their path of this solar system is way down here. So you see, this star system is not on the ecliptic. Jupiter is not in the stars of Cassiopeia, but the ancient Greeks and many astrologers to this present day, how we work with fixed stars is actually project them onto the ecliptic. We give them a kind of ecliptical degree so that we can work with them. So if you trace a line up here all the way, you could see how Jupiter is in an alignment with Cassiopeia if Cassiopeia were smushed right down onto the ecliptic. And this is what Cassiopeia looks like in the sky. She is the queen in the chair. And in Greek mythology, she's talked about as Cassiopeia, Greek and Roman, Cassiopeia or Hera, Zeus's wife. But what I've been learning from Bernadette Brady is that Cassiopeia is really the archetypal queen. She's been imaged and expressed as Mary Magdalene and other queens. She's also been imaged as Isis as well. And you see with Isis, she's often depicted with the throne at her head or the solar disk. And you can see in the statuette of Isis as well that she makes the same shape as the woman in the chair and the same little shape as the Cassiopeia constellation. So when I saw this, I had a total download about this because Isis has been coming through in my own Reiki journey so much lately. And I was like, why is this? Well, Jupiter expands everything he touches, like I said, and Jupiter is retrograde. Jupiter's not moving super fast. Jupiter already brought in this Shedir consciousness for us when Jupiter went direct over this point months before. And now in Jupiter's retrograde period is making another conjunction with this star and bringing in those frequencies for us. So what is this all about? It's the goddess. It's about respect, honor, the golden rule. I treat others the way I wish to be treated. That's like one of the most perfect and pure teachings of Christianity. I remember in Catholic grade school learning the golden rule and being like, yeah, that's something I could stand behind. A lot of the other things I was learning, I didn't feel comfortable with. But that actually I did really, really resonate with. Also, to treat myself the way I wish others to treat me as well. That's a big one, right? Giving oneself that self-love, treating others in the way you wish to be treated, but also treating yourself in the way you wish to be treated. That is like the self-love, self-care inside job to improving your relationships without necessarily doing anything externally. So think about that, especially with Jupiter retrograde. Through the end of December, Jupiter will station direct. So, what is this asking us to do? Embrace your inner queen. Embrace that inner queen archetype, that queen archetype, that pure archetypal feminine energy. And even if you're not in a female body or feminine, female, identify whatever your gender is, you have a feminine part of you too. And that feminine part has to do with the intuition, the receptivity, the emotions, the mysticism, your ability to go inward and not be so outwardly material reality, sense perception focus, but going within and accessing the universe from within, really honoring the sacred vessel that you're in, which is sacred technology, is a gift. It's a treasure house for your great beaming light. This feminine archetypal energy is about divine leadership. It's the queen with intuition and with wisdom that is sourced from within, that is this direct experience, emanation of knowledge and wisdom rather than what you've been force fed. So there is this frequency of softness. And this is highlighted more so by the fact that Venus is opposite this same star as well. So we have a double dose of this goddess divine feminine energy that is available for us to tap into. And Mercury is actually involved in this as well. Venus is in sextile to Mercury. Mercury is making a sextile to Venus and a trine to Jupiter, which will be activated for a couple days since Mercury is very, very slow in its movement. So we really have a chance to tune into this and on board within our thinking, within our consciousness, within our communication, our lower mind, our businesses, our day-to-day, what this divine feminine energy, archetypal energy, wants us to integrate at this time and embody for our highest good. Bernadette Brady's interpretation of Jupiter with Shedir star and Cassiopeia is a person who values the past, a historian or a fundamentalist. So this can also, through your own inner wisdom, bring up some of those ancient soul memories of what is the true history of humanity, what is the true history of your soul. And with those aspects of Mercury, how do you want to rewrite that or re-envision that or adjust your communication to accommodate what the truth of that story really is? A final message I would like to share with you is that I pulled a Galactic Heritage card for the Sagittarius new moon. And this is an extremely awesome galactic deck by Lisa Royal Holt that I highly recommend to anybody who wants to connect with the galactic in a enlightened, empowered way. And the card that came in was number 60, Coming Full Circle. This is from Sirius Star System, Present Time Line. And this is bringing it all together. This is a feeling of completing cycles and beginning new cycles. It also echoes in with, we had Mercury in an alignment with Sirius B. Isis is very much connected to Sirius A star. The Egyptian pyramids in the Queen's Chamber are aligned to Sirius A star, linked to Isis, celebrating Isis. Isis linked to Shedir star, Cassiopeia constellation, the divine feminine. So there's a lot of completion and fruition. Also the sense of it's the last new moon of the year. So what cycles for you are closing out? What ways of being in the wounded masculine or the unhealthy expressions of the masculine energy are closing out? Unhealthy ways of being in general closing out for you? What do you want to let go of and leave behind in 2023? And you could even treat this like a mini new year for yourself. The December solstice will be happening, about a week later on. So you can feel that new year energy now. You can really be leaving things behind of 2023 right now at this new moon and planting those seeds for the new beginnings that you wish to carry forward. And it could really be linked to the soul work, like what really brought you here, what really lights your spirit up and inspires you and gives you this sense of inner expansion and exploration and bliss and a sense of passion and levity and humor. And it feels more fun. It feels more fun and lighthearted. So I thank you so much for being with me. If you'd like to be with me more, I invite you to attend the free Sagittarius New Moon Distant Reiki Share the day before the new moon. Details about that on my website, taylornorrisreiki.com, as well as all my offerings. I offer Galactic Astrology soul readings, a brand new kind of ancient starlight mini reading and reading, which looks at your stars the ancient Egyptian way, looking at the Parans and the Alhague rising and setting star, and what that means to you and your soul and spirit consciousness. Who were you before the horoscope? What is your true star sign? I give regular astrological consultations, as well as Reiki healing sessions and Reiki certification classes in the Holy Fire lineage. So if you are wanting healing or to train in the healing and intuitive arts, then definitely check out my Reiki classes. Thank you so much for being a part of my soul family. I wish you a magical Sagittarius new moon. Aho, amen, namaste, and so it is. Mahalo.